Well, good morning. My name is Dan Baker. I'm one of the pastors at Twin Lakes Church. Welcome to this morning's Daily Devo. We have just started our fall series, and it's called You'll Get Through This. It's based on the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis, and I know it's going to be an encouraging time for all of us. One of the things with Joseph is things did not work out for him real quickly. He had to wait quite a while for things to actually happen the way he had hoped they would. He knew God had a plan for his life and that God would do great things, but it took some time. You know, I'm standing here in front of Munskey Hall, one of the buildings on the Twin Lakes Church campus, and being here in front of this building reminds me of Pastor Roger Moore. Roger was a pastor on staff here back in the 70s and 80s, even the late 60s. And he was much loved. And he had a class that met in this building. That's why I'm here. It was a large Sunday morning class, and people just loved that class and got a lot out of it. Roger tragically died at the young age of 50 back in the late 80s. And he is so missed by all who knew him. Well, the other day, his wife Phyllis shared with me a couple of tapes from sermons that Roger gave here at Twin Lakes during a Sunday evening service back in the 80s. And I'm going to share with you just 90 seconds of one of those sermons here today, where Roger talks about having the long view, knowing that God is at work, even though you may not feel it at the time, but knowing that in time, God will work things out. Here's Roger Moore from 1986.
What Scripture is teaching us here is that we do get in a rush, but God never works in a hurry. God's never too busy. God's time schedule, and you've heard this many times, but it's so true, God's time schedule many times is different than ours. And there are some times in our life when God brings us to a point of delay. If right now you are going through a time of personal darkness and pain and hurt, learn to step back, to realize that God has ordained this, that God is allowing you to go through this for His glory and for your best. And if right now you have had maybe a business disappointment, maybe a marital disappointment or family disappointment, learn to take the long view. Learn to step back and realize that God sometimes portions to us things that we may not like, but are ultimately for our best. That we must turn from the immediate to the ultimate. And then as you deal with the injustice and the inequality in life, begin to realize that God is still involved. That God will cause all things to come out right. That God cares for us.
Roger Moore, the long view. What are you anxious about today? That you're waiting for God to do something, to take care of something in your life? Well, take the long view. Know that He is working all things together for good. He is making all things new. You will get through this in His time. I'm also in front of this building because it reminds me of an event that is coming up here tomorrow morning. We call this event Encore. Renee Schlepfer will be speaking. Trent Smith will be leading worship. We'll have a missions update. We'll have a free breakfast, amazing food, special music. It's just a great time together. Now this event is primarily for senior adults, but anybody is welcome. It's just a lot of fun. I like to call this the youth group event for senior adults. Come on out, join us tomorrow morning right here in Munskey Hall at 10 a.m., September 28th. Take care. Thanks for being with us today.